I was watching this TikTok. I was watching a lot of TikToks, and my wife and I have been watching TikToks. And the relationship, I get no relationship stuff in my TikTok. It's just straight up hip hop beats. I don't even get political stuff in there, and dancing basically. I guess that's what they know I like or whatever. But I get Shaquille O'Neal clips, Kobe Bryant clips. But she gets motivational stuff. This one came from Twitter, and it's a very appropriate topic for me, at least, to have with my sons. People were feeling some kind of way about this video. So I'm going to play this TikTok video. Black Diaspora Voice says, I hope black management wasting their time with this advice. That type of consultant you do not need. Kevin Samuels talks about that. So let's listen to this. It's 2 minutes. It goes by fast. It's very interesting, fascinating topic to discuss. She's replying to a comment here. She's replying to a comment that says, I wish men would understand that emotional intelligence is so important because how much clarity, security it brings into your life. So the comment is saying, I wish men would I wish men would be more emotionally in tuned with themselves and with others, kind of stuff. And this is what she had to say.
Say you need to expand your emotional vocabulary. It's so your life can be easier. Don't you want to be able to communicate with your bitch? I think yes, right? Long gone are the days where you can just shut down. Bitches is not tolerating that. Like, it used to be where men provided financially or with Schmeat, and bitches can make their own self come and we can pay for our own shit. So I'm gonna need y'all to catch up on the emotional part. If a bitch is telling you, I need you to communicate more, open your fucking mouth. But you know what I realized? And let me back up. A common misconception about me as a clinician is that 90% of my clientele have been men, black men specifically. And what we specifically work on is expanding their emotional vocabulary, because a lot of y'all motherfuckers don't even have the words to express how you're feeling. So when you expand your vocabulary and knowledge of what you are experiencing, because y'all are human beings who experience feelings and emotions and don't have to choke that shit down no more. Y'all ain't had to choke that shit down since 2016. Anyway, if y'all are not in therapy, expanding your emotional vocabulary, your life just off top is going to be more difficult. When you expand your emotional vocabulary, you expand your awareness of yourself. When you expand your emotional vocabulary, you understand how you can navigate in this bitch. This fucking weird ass world that is so hard on y'all. Like, let's acknowledge that the world is very difficult for y'all, but y'all are not making it any easier, bruh. You're not. When bitches are telling y'all to go to therapy, it's not for us, it's for y'all sad motherfuckers. Go to therapy, talk about that shit that's on your chest. You don't have to choke that shit down no more. Y'all are doing a disservice to yourself. And so let me sum this shit up. Y'all told bitches to elevate our standards. And at the cost of us elevating y'all standards, y'all got axed because y'all didn't elevate either. Bitches are not tolerating emotional abuse, emotional neglect. Step it up. Go talk to somebody. Go expand your emotional vocabulary so your life can be better, bitch. All right. Go in peace.
Now, her message, her delivery, I thought the delivery was actually very good. I mean, you have to be entertaining, but it was off-putting to some people. I hate to break this to people, but I'm not a sensitive person. So for her to use the language and, kind of be aggressive about it, it's completely irrelevant to me. She's right. She is absolutely right. She has an absolutely great point. That's my takeaway from this. Some people were replying to it and they weren't really feeling it. And people were bringing up Kevin Samuels and trying to talk about her room being scruffy. Don't ignore the message. So here's my thoughts here. She's right. We have evolved as humans away from the caveman state of men being the muscle and protectors. Do you think cave women were looking for emotions from their man? They were looking for their man to protect, to do other duties. Now, some women are looking for different things. And there's no right or wrong other than finding the right person for you. That's where these videos, they don't answer that part of it. I think they could do a better job of saying it just depends. You've got to find the right person for you. That's the bottom line. A lot of people, I think, ignore that part. I'm going to play this other video here. This is the other end of the spectrum. So I just want to give the other end of the spectrum, which I'm not condoning. Women in the chat might not be feeling this. It just depends on where you're at. Some might, and there's no right or wrong. But this dude right here is somebody who tries to, there's this whole thing where people try to be this alpha male or whatever. Here's his thoughts on setting boundaries so you're in a relationship with a woman. His video is titled, Why a Woman Shouldn't Set Boundaries with a Man.
Why I don't let my wife set boundaries with me. Setting a boundary sounds like, stop doing this, don't do that. That's energetically leading, which means it's masculine, which means it's disrespectful when a woman communicates that way to her man. And when a woman is being disrespectful, a man loses interest in being devoted to her. That's why I tell her, stop setting boundaries with me. That's my boundary as a man. Instead, I lead her to tell me what she is feeling, because that is what I care about. When I know what she is feeling, I can set my own boundaries for myself and my own behavior to protect her heart. That's what masculine men do for feminine, respectful women.
Interesting TikTok. The part that really got me the first time I saw that was, if you didn't pick that up, he said, he's just talking about boundaries, basically the thing where you're like, that crosses the line for me. I don't want that, whatever that is. I don't like when you do that. I don't want you to do that, or something like that. He said, my boundary is that you don't get boundaries. And it's funny to me, but it is kind of dark as well. I mean, that's some controlling stuff. But he did say, get in tune with her feelings too. Just, there's a little bit of balance there. But the reason I play that is there's no right or wrong, period. But what I'm thinking about is, I'm not really good. I'm not in touch with my emotions. So that is something that I have had to work on with my wife. And as I see the world, how the world is going, the young black lady I played first, that is where the world is going, where there's going to be more the ability to protect, and well, maybe not in the short term as we see all kinds of chaos going out, but long term, if we stay pretty comfortable and safe like we are right now, you don't need the protection part as much. So it might be more valuable for men to at least be able to flex in their emotions more. And I just never been an emotional person. I don't think I'm naturally emotional. My dad wasn't emotional, so I didn't learn it from him. I mean, obviously not to blame my dad. I'm just not a natural, like in tune with my emotions type. I'm a logical, analytical type person, period. But with my two sons, I am thinking about what she said. I've already been, my wife's talked to me about it, and I agree with her about it. There's a balance, because I don't want anybody out here, especially my sons, to be bitch made. That can't happen. But you can strike a balance. I said, I'm a father of two boys. This is a very important discussion. If you want your bloodline to continue on, if you don't want your kids to be prawn victims or incels, I think she has some advice to heed. because women can go on an app or wherever and choose the cream of the crop or whoever they want. I'm seeing people rise up in the social media space, rising up being incels. Like, that's what we do. That's what we are. And that's a little off-putting to me. Like, we don't mess with girls. I mean, that's like damn near the opposite of when I was growing up. I mean, you couldn't even be an incel. I mean, you'd be ostracized from most male friend groups from me growing up. And I was, I didn't hang with any special people. You know what I mean? That's to be like an incel. That's how it happens. So I think that's a skill to keep in mind. And I almost want it to be a skill for them to have. I don't want them to be ruled by emotions, because then, I mean, in my opinion, you'll most likely be a leftist. But if that's what they are, that's what they are. Let me know what you think. Just topics out of the blue. Thanks for stopping by. Hike Martin says, women want a man they can complain about. And I think that's where some complaints come from. And I had to talk to my wife about it, about like, oh, okay, are you giving me any, she's like, are you giving me any emotions, or, that type of thing. I'm like, you have a good point. I'm not really emotional. I don't give a lot of emotions. And then, I kind of get amped up about 90s R&B or politics or something like that. And then she's like, wait a second, you got some energy about that. Where's the emotion or energy, just in everyday life? So, and that can lead to complaints happening. T Long says, being aware of your emotions and being able to express those emotions does not make you emotional. Yes, absolutely. And I want to make sure that that was I don't want to say toxic. I hate that term, toxic masculinity. I don't even know what that means. But in the 90s, there's some good stuff and there's some bad. We saw, like, in the 2000s, they were savage, really disrespectfully. And there was that idea where, like, if you had emotions, it was very prevalent. Like, if you had emotions, you were soft and you're emotional. No, that's not the case. It's not healthy. It was, and she said that in the video, the young black, she was like, get that out your chest or whatever. It's just unhealthy. I forget who it was, but Tim Cass had this guy on his show who I guess is famous, but I had never heard of him before. Like, I guess he was a streamer from back in the day or something. But he talked about he had to use drugs to get it out, which is not the ideal way. But what I'm bringing him up for is he was able to bring out his emotions in, using this, these drugs or whatever, DMT or whatever. I don't know much about it, but he got it out. And then he said after that, he was a better father and all that. So it's a work in progress for me. And if I can't do it, then how am I going to teach them to do it? I think it's a skill they need to have. Ray Studio says, women don't want nice men. They want men that have spice. Yep. I think everybody has, it's just like food. Everybody has a different tolerance level for Tabasco or, ghost peppers or whatever. But yeah, I think you find the right person you're compatible with. And yeah, everybody, I think a lot of people want spice. Oh man, they were talking about feminism in the chat. So yeah, I'm not not knowledgeable on the feminist stuff. I never paid attention to the feminist movement. Was Me Too a part of the feminist movement? That's really when I started paying attention. Was when Me Too became big, and they were wrecking shop, taking out all kinds of people who I used to like, I used to watch on TV or whatever. Not that they shouldn't have been. It's like a lot of it was like he said, she said, and you couldn't corroborate. But I don't know much about the feminist movement. Metalopoly said, just do yard work. That will help. That will help. You do your chores. That will help.